pre-slug correctly, but it's saying that it's for the coding. It's not for Edpuzzle. So there might be some people in here that might not catch that. And so I recopied the link and it's sending me to the same exact pre-slug form again.
Okay.
Just so you know what's happening.
Okay.
And then I
change they can just click into this one.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Okay.
So
and then I can fix things on the back end.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Started the recording.
And then you just started recording it. Thank you.
Okay.
Will the recording get sent to me or to you?
It'll get sent to me.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. So, yearbook teacher, history teacher. Susanna, what do you teach at La Paz? Landscaping project. Ooh, we've had a lot of landscaping done at our house. Rachel, congratulations. 38 weeks pregnant. Oh my gosh, so exciting. Boy or girl, Rachel? Wow. Oh, thank you, Juanita. So because there's a lot of you and I'm going to be focusing a lot of different things, Juanita's going to be moderating for me and helping me just with if there's questions. If you could please, if you have a question, put the question mark sign and then type in your question. That would be helpful just so that it catches our eye. So I think some of you, I'm so glad to see you in here again. This is, I think, my 4th or 5th time doing this presentation, and there's always something new to learn. And if you've experienced this and you've used Edpuzzle and you have something to add to what you've done that I don't mention, please feel free to speak up. So, hey, Cassie. All right. So if you could let me know if there's any problems with signing in or getting your accounts. I want you to have in a student account and a teacher account. So in order to get your student account, you have to sign out of your teacher account and then sign in to the student account.
Thank you. That just answered my question.
Yeah, you have to log out and then you have to you use the same exact password and stuff, but you just log into the student. And then Juanita just put in the class code for our class. So I can see in our class we have Brian, you're confused. Okay, so Brian, we need you to sign into your sign in for the session. That's number 1. And then number 2, you need to have a teacher account for Edpuzzle and a student account for Edpuzzle. So if you don't have that yet and you're confused, that's okay. There will be lots of time to play around with this and time to get in there. The biggest thing is you do need, it would be very helpful for you to have the slides because there's a lot of links in the slides. So we're just getting started right now. So you haven't missed anything if you were confused. So do you have any questions right now that I can help you with? Yes, use Google. So log into Edpuzzle with Google.
Ms. Wormley?
Yes.
What's the code?
The class code for the our class is, Juanita posted, I'll post it again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So for the class, and as a teacher, it's going to be a lot easier for you because you can just upload your Edpuzzle, your Google Classroom account straight into Edpuzzle. So what we're doing right now, you don't have to do with your students because Google Classroom will talk with Edpuzzle really nicely, and your kids will automatically be put into Edpuzzle. So you don't have to worry about that with your students. And then, yes, the district bought a full license for all sites for all of our teachers. So the trial, like the free account, usually has 15 videos that you have access to. But with distant learning, this is like the way to go to push out video to your students for instruction. And so I'm going to show you exactly how to do all that. And Edpuzzle is the easiest way to do that because you can put formative questions in there and get a lot of feedback from your students. And so the district bought license for everybody for unlimited videos. And I'll show you some cool bells and whistles in Edpuzzle. So, okay. Questions before we even start? All right. Cool. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Carolyn Wormley, and I teach at Alvarez. This is my 13th year, I think, going into teaching math. I taught middle school math for 9 years, and then I decided that middle school was fun and cool, but I got bored with 7th grade math. And I was tired of the not having accountability for grades, because it didn't really matter if they passed or failed, they still got put to 8th grade. And so I was ready for a change, and I went to, I applied to work at Alvarez for high school, and I've been there, this is going on my 4th year. Last year I was an instructional coach for math, and so I only had 3 periods that I taught, and then I was coaching and helping and supporting teachers across our whole site. And I learned a ton, and I really had a fun time doing that. This year with budget cuts, I'm back in the classroom full time for 3 periods of Math 1, and then 2 periods of transition to college level mathematics. So Edpuzzle can be used in all subjects and for any kind of information you want to give to your kids. So it works across the board. So this is getting recorded. So you guys just are aware that this is recorded. The chat's also recorded. And then mute your mics unless you have a question. And like I asked for you just to say your question, it would be helpful to put questions in the chat to continue to keep us moving. So this whole presentation I've created, and I've been modifying it over the last couple of years. This presentation is available to you for the bit.ly, and I've actually designed it so that if you aren't here and you missed something, I have videos throughout the entire lesson to show you how to do everything I'm going to show you now. There's 1 or 2 things that are brand new that I didn't make a video for because we're going to experiment with it together, and it didn't make sense to make it into a video. But for the most part, everything you need to know about using Edpuzzle and making your videos and uploading them into Edpuzzle and YouTube and all of that, I have a video for you for it. So this slide this is my virtual classroom. I don't know if you've seen these virtual classrooms that teachers are making and posting on Facebook or Instagram, but this is one that I've created. And I have, the class is full. Uh-oh. I didn't know there's a limit to how many kids you can have in a class. That's good to know. Terry, we're gonna hold on that question, and then when we get there, we'll see what I can do, okay? So I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so if you have the slides open, you'll see that you can click on all of these different posters. I've had fun putting in videos and links so that you can you go to these different websites. I'm going to be using Edpuzzle, Alex, and Desmos in my math class the most. And so I will have one of these virtual classrooms for my students every day or every week. And they'll be able to have just quick links to where we're going. And here I'll have a little video of me talking, or my student teacher or co-teacher talking about whatever it is for the week. So on your own time, when you have a time you want to come back, so posters here, this little poster down here, over here, up here. So I have links to different websites or videos. So the beach scene back here is what inspired me to play Kokomo for us today. So these are fun virtual classrooms to use. So our plan today is I'm going to introduce you to Edpuzzle. I'm going to talk to you about how you can use Edpuzzle data to inform your instruction. And then I'm going to talk through ideas to implement this for distant learning. And we're all learning how to do distant learning together. And so I really am not the expert. I've tried a couple of things that worked or didn't work in the spring, but we all know with accountability, it was really hard. So I will tell you my plans on what I'm going to do, but I'd love to get your ideas of how you can see Edpuzzle fitting into your schedule and your classes. And then the last but not least, there's a lot of playtime. So I did create this virtual classroom in Google Slides, and there's a ton of tutorials on it, and I can show you a different time, but I don't want to take up time right now to focus on this part. I believe Brianna did a session or is going to be doing a session, and there'll be recordings on how to make your own virtual classrooms. So it's a lot easier than what I thought, though, for sure. So questions about what we're going to be doing today?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, cool. I'm just like, if someone has a question, throw it in the chat. Here is, Juanita, can you throw the code for the slides in, please? And the class code also. I think the class is full, which I didn't realize was a thing. And so again, I'm learning with you. I've never had this many people in one of my sessions before. So it's a new hurdle that we're going to figure out how to cross when we get there. I might make another class. We'll see. Okay. So this page, I'm going to show you what's here. This is a video that shows me how to take a video that I made in Loom and then be able to upload it to YouTube and then put it into Edpuzzle to start working. So this is here. It's 9 minutes long. I'm not going to show you that right now because that's kind of later in what we're going to be doing. But I want you to know that if you get stuck later on and there's no one around you to help, then this video is here for you. About 9 minutes long. All right. So our purpose, I did already kind of go over it, but my goal when we're done is that you understand how to use Edpuzzle, how to make videos that have formative questions in them, and then how to use the data so that we can use this during distant learning time. And then I also am going to give you some best practices on when you create a video and then this for student learning, and then like my successes and my failures with using Edpuzzle. So, and then what I'm going to be doing. So the whole reason why I even learned about Edpuzzle was I was sick and tired of my students feeling like I was just talking at them and not taking notes. And like, you know, so someone goes to the bathroom and they come back and then they've missed like 5 minutes of what I've said and they're lost and confused and they get frustrated and they shut down. Or I have students that look like this. So I don't know if any of you felt like that, like you spend hours on this lesson, you think it's going to be amazing, and then your students are just like, it's in one ear, out the other, they're falling asleep, and you're like, what was I doing this for? And so I wanted to, I don't have that issue anymore when I was in the classroom. I didn't have that issue. Like 100% of my students were watching the videos and they were taking notes. And so flipped learning, in order to understand kind of why Edpuzzle is so powerful, you need to understand flipped learning. So before I continue, in the chat, if you know what I mean when I say a flipped classroom, can you just put a yes if you know what flipped classroom is, or a sort of, or I have no idea, just so we can get a feel for how you feel on that. All right, lots of you are saying yes. So can let's see, I'm gonna pick on one of you. Jeannie, can you unmute your mic and tell us what like your idea of a flipped classroom is? Oh, it's not working. I'm sorry. Stephanie Zink, can you tell us what your idea is?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So I didn't use it so much of myself, but my husband's a math teacher, so I watched him do a flipped classroom in which he would post, or he would design his videos. He would then play a video, kids would work, and then they could come back and they could rewatch if they needed to rewatch something in order to understand a concept. And then he would go on and continue to the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And so exactly. So anybody want to add on to that definition of flipped classroom or what it looks like? All
so
right.
this is John Zeller, Salinas High. So in the training I got the impression that in flipped learning, the direct instruction takes place online at night, and that leaves the teacher more chance to do guided practice during class time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. The idea is exactly that the students learn outside of your class time. So you can use the time in class to really hone in the practice and use the skills. So a lot of you, some of you said sort of, some of you are saying sort of, some of you said no. So I'm going to show this 3-minute video of what a flipped classroom is. And what I actually would like you to do instead of just showing that video is I want you to take a few minutes. There's the code. I want you to go to Edpuzzle as a student. Here's the code if you don't have it. And this is actually a link if you're on the slides. This is a link to the class. And I want you to watch the video, the flipped classroom model. So you're going to see what Edpuzzle looks like as a student view so that you can understand what the kids see. And then I'm going to show you what the teachers see and how I can use that. All right. So I'm going to give you, it's about a 3-minute video. So I'm going to give you about 4 minutes or so. So at 1:37, then let's come back and then we can talk about what you saw and if there's any ahas at that time. All right. So since you have your own computers, go ahead and make sure your mic is muted so we don't hear the video. Go into your student account for Edpuzzle. It shows 50 students in my Edpuzzle account right now in that class. Okay, there's 30 of you that are not in here. If you're watching it on your own, I'm gonna let you watch it on your own. I'm gonna play the video so that those of you that aren't able to be in the class can see what it looks like as a student. All right, oops, I don't want to do that though. I wanna go here. You're welcome. All right, Deborah, you can't get into Edpuzzle. As a student or as a teacher? Neither. Okay, did you, if you go to edpuzzle.com, sign in with your Google account. All right. If you're watching on your own, you can sign out of this presentation and then sign back in. I think that might be the easiest way. I don't know if there's a way to mute. Okay. So I'm going to play it. And this is videos for PD. Okay. Video's buffering. It might be because there's 80 of us trying to watch it. It might be part of the problem. Okay. Let's see what happens here.
The flipped classroom.
The reason why it's not working is because they have to watch the video. They have to listen to your note on the side first.
There you go. Yes. Yes. You have to listen to that note.
Hello everybody, this is Carolyn Wormley, and we're going to use this quick video on YouTube that I found, I did not create this, that I'm inserting some questions into so that we can showcase the power of Edpuzzle. So again, I found this on YouTube, and we're going to use it.
Pause. I'm sorry. I just realized that I'm not projecting what I wanted to be projecting. Stop presenting, and then I have to present again. Okay. I'm going to do my whole window, make it easier. Okay. Share. All right, here we go.
To learn about the flipped classroom, and then I will show you what this looks like as a student in Edpuzzle, and then what the results look like as a teacher. So follow along, answer the questions, and we'll continue as a class when everybody has finished.
All right, continue.
The flipped classroom is a new method of teaching that is turning the traditional classroom on its head. Every day, thousands of teachers deliver the exact same lesson in class to millions of students. Every night, millions of students sit over the exact same homework, trying to figure out how to solve it. The flipped classroom is turning this upside down. Traditionally, students listen to lectures and take tests in class, and read textbooks and work on problem sets at home.
Okay, so it stopped the video because I have to now answer a question. So someone unmute your mic and tell us the answer. So the question is, in a traditional classroom, which of the following is how students are expected to learn? So can someone tell me what you would select as a student?
Students listen to lectures and take notes in class and then practice and do the work at home.
Okay, and then is there another one? So you could have more than one answer on here. All right, so that's how they're expected. This is what they do sometimes. Okay, so I can answer, and then the kids are going to get feedback of, yes, I got it right, or I got it wrong. Okay, so now we're going to continue.
In flip teaching, Students first study the topic by themselves, typically using video lessons on YouTube, and then apply the knowledge by solving problems and doing practical work in class. Modern schools who've flipped their classroom report many benefits. 1. It allows all students to learn at their own pace, as videos can be watched again. 2. It's more efficient, as students enter the classroom prepared to contribute. 3. It enriches the classroom, as more time can be spent on group work and projects. 4. Doing homework in class allows students to help each other, which benefits both the advanced and less advanced learners.
All right, so now this is an open-ended question. So according to the video, what are 2 benefits of the flipped classroom? So again, the students will be typing this in, but unmute your mic, somebody. What's one thing? And then we'll get 2 of you.
One of the things that it contributes most is to equalize the classroom, because you've got advanced and probably less advantaged students working together.
Advanced and non-working together. Okay, I'm gonna say able to. Okay, so that's one. What's another one? Somebody else.
Students are better prepared when they enter the classroom.
Awesome. So this is open-ended, which means that I'm gonna be able to look through everybody's responses and see what they wrote. And so a kid could go in and put me, again, give me like 10 different things here. It doesn't limit them how much they can write. So I'm gonna submit that. If I didn't know the answer, I could have actually rewatched that section again so that I can go back and watch it. So sometimes the kids will zone out in a video and like they'll miss what it said. They can rewatch that part before they can answer the question again. So I like that feature. I can skip it because I'm the teacher right now looking at in the teacher mode. And so a student would not be able to skip that.
Flipping
Sarah
also
has a
brings
question.
changes for teachers. Traditionally,
Was there a question?
Yeah, Kara has a question.
Yeah.
Her hand.
Oh no, I was just gonna answer the question. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you.
teachers engage most with the confident students who ask questions. Flipping allows teachers to target the students who really need help instead of just those who are confident. Also, instead of instructing from the front, teachers guide on the side. This allows them to work more closely with individuals or small groups. Teachers that are not great presenters can use third-party videos to explain the concept and focus on methods of teaching that suit their style, such as project work or experiments. Once video lectures are made available online, teachers don't need to give the same lecture over and over again. Again, they gain more time to focus on the needs of their class. Many scholars also argue that the flipped classroom model promotes equal learning opportunities, as all kids get the same attention when doing their homework. Currently, kids with caring parents, older siblings at home, or expensive private tutors have a clear advantage over those who don't. Let us know what you think. If you were a teacher, tell us if this model would be possible in your classroom.
All right, so do you think this model would be able to work for you? You just type it in the chat or say it. I'm going to say yes. All right, and so then the next question I have for you is, what obstacles do you think you'll have to make this happen?
The buy-in of students. We have, if you have the students who are at low end, it's going to be really challenging just to get them to sit down, come in and sit down and pay, just be quiet. Whereas, you can have an honors class that, they don't need you. They just want them to give them the work and give them more work because that's what they're looking for.
Creating videos. No learning space at home. I'm seeing lots of stuff in here. So not have watched. I'm going to talk about that part. Watched at home. Yeah.
They watch it on their phone.
Yes. Most of my kids watch it on their phone, honestly. So, I mean, they can watch Netflix on their phone. They can watch a video on their phone. So, and that's what I tell them for sure. So I'm going to stop there and then submit. And then the next, continue.
If you were a
There you go.
student,
While you finish
let
this.
us know if you would prefer learning in a flipped
Oops, I hit pause.
classroom.
All right, so this last part is gives you a website for the flipped learning. So this flippedlearning.org website is really it's a very informative, and you can spend hours and hours on that website looking at stuff, and they're updating it for digital or distant learning, and they're constantly putting new research out there. So this flippedlearning.org website is really helpful. So this is a note, and I want to show you that in a note, I could actually put a link in there, and the kids can click on the link and go to the next thing. So like I could, in distant learning, for example, have them watch a video, and then I can put their assignment to go work on right there. If they click on it, it takes them to where they're supposed to go. So now this is the Flipped Learn website, and they're always adding new things in here. So you can peruse this whenever you want. So some of the challenges that I saw that you guys were typing was the students being organized, that it does take time to make lessons, that they might not do it at home. And those are all like, yes, yes, yes. Like I have those same problems too. So let me tell you, when I first learned about Flipped Classroom, here's how I got involved in about knowing Edpuzzle. Let me see what the next slide has. I forgot on it. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it here. So I wanted to flip my classroom a couple years, like, oh my gosh, I was at Colton. So in like 2014, 2015, I learned about it. And I was like, I'm gonna make videos online. I'm gonna have the kids watch it in YouTube. They're gonna come to class, and then they're gonna do the work with me in class with all their notes already. It's gonna be awesome. And like a couple kids did, but I never knew if they watched it or not. They could say they watched it and they left their notes at home, but there was no like written like trail. So I knew if they watched it or not. And then they couldn't like type in questions, and there was no way for me to like assess them, like, you know, do our like informal assessments, formative assessments to like know, did you learn something or not? And so I got really frustrated with that, and I kind of just gave up with the flipped idea model because there was no way that I was able to keep them accountable. They didn't do it. I'm like, oh, is this going to work for those kids that are like at this, you know, super fancy schools, or like AP kids might do it, but like my gen ed kids that are like, you know, my math, my kids that really struggle, they're not going to do that. And I just gave up on it. But then I always had the idea in my head, and I knew it would be helpful. And I went to the ITSE conference, and I happened to be at a random booth in the big showroom, and there was someone that sat there, one of the guys that like is involved in the flipped learning, he did a real quick like impromptu session on flipped learning because their session was full and they wanted to have it there for other people to see. So I happened to sit down and learn about the flipped classroom, and I told him my frustration, and he's like, oh, well, there was a math teacher presenting with him, and they said, have you heard of Edpuzzle before? And I'm like, no, what is that? Like a puzzle for education? Like, I have no idea what we're talking about. And he told me, but it was. And I was like blown away. I was like, wait, what? Like there's a thing that does that? And so he's like, yeah, I know when my kids watch it. I know how long they spent on it. I know if they answered my questions or not. I know if they did it on time or if they did it late. I know if they haven't looked at it. I know how much of the video that they had watched. And like my mind was blown. And I was like, I have to learn about this program. So I learned about it. And that was, I think, 2017. And so I learned about it. And then I've been presenting this for a couple times now because it really has changed how I can use Edpuzzle in the classroom. So this video link right here is a 30-minute video for you to watch so that you can get an idea about what Edpuzzle is and how to use it if you aren't in the session, or if you want a refresher later on. It's just me talking through what I'm doing with you basically right now. So someone said they had a question. Julissa, what was your question? Correct. So this is asynchronous. So I would have the students in distant learning. My plan is to have students watch the videos on Monday and then probably another one on either Wednesday or Thursday, because I'm going to be teaching so much content in 1 week because I'm condensing a whole year into a semester, right? So I have so much content to do. And so I'm going to have to make sure that my kids watch these in the asynchronous time, and I really benefit and I maximize my synchronous time. So I have two different situations really in my head thinking about like with Edpuzzle. What I've experienced the most is in the classroom time with all of, like when the kids are with me every day, like normal before this whole pandemic. And so what I learned was, even though I had the video for them to do and I had accountability, they don't do their homework, so they didn't watch the video. And I'm like, you guys, it's 15 minutes. Sit down, watch a video, take notes, and it's 15 minutes. Like, do that for me. You don't have to do any problems. And I got a couple more kids to do it. But then I asked, like, why aren't you doing this? Like, oh, well, I leave school, then I have to go take care of my siblings, and I go to work, then I have to watch my siblings, and then I have to make dinner, and then like all the stuff that they do outside of school, why they don't do their homework in general. This was the same thing. And so I got frustrated. And so how I use this in the classroom the most was actually I had them watch the lesson in the class with me. So I felt like I was wasting time, but I would have lectured a lesson anyways and had them take notes. So instead of doing that, I had them go to Edpuzzle, watch the video, answer the questions. I'm there monitoring that they're doing it, and I'm there to see, like, I'm looking at how they're answering questions. I'm like, oh, they answered wrong. I'm going to go quick and see what happened and help this kid out because they made a mistake, and I want to make sure they understand it. So it let me really be involved more with my students because they were watching the video on their own with headphones. And so my principal bought headphones for me to use in my class. So the kids had headphones to use. They had their Chromebooks. And that was the best way. Here's a picture of it. How my students took notes in class. And so I would make my video, and again, like I make it once and then I have it for year and year and year after that. And so, you know, this video, if I can get my kids the handout, then they can just do this video on their own. So that's a whole nother conversation of if we're going to be giving them handouts to be taking notes on, or what it's going to look like. I might have to modify or redo this video. But that's how I use it in the classroom. And that was the most effective. And I would have 100% of students actually doing Edpuzzle and like taking the notes. Even the kids who like sit there on their phones the whole time, they sit there on their phones with the Edpuzzle going, and they would actually take notes. They might leave it on the desk, but they took the notes. They were participating in the learning more than they did before. So with distant learning, it's a whole different thing, and we can get into ideas of how to make it work. I'm hoping at some point we're going to go back to the classroom. And so the kids will, I'll still be able to go back to this and have them be doing the notes in class, or maybe try, every group of students is different. So maybe I can start training them to do the homework and do it. We'll have to see kind of what happens when we all get to go back to the classroom. So Belina, you were asking, yeah, I'm going to show you the teacher side in a minute for sure. So so your application was have them do, so exactly, they didn't do anything at home. They did everything in the class. So I was fortunate that, so at Alvarez, we have block schedule. And so they're hour-and-a-half long classes. So I would have them do the class or the video, the first part of class, and then we would use it later on. So we do like a warm-up, watch your video, and then here's your task that you're going to work on using the video notes. So that's how I did it during that time. So a couple of things talking about the right size videos. You need to have, like, the best practices, I have this somewhere else in the slides, but the best practice with videos is no more than 15 minutes. It's about a minute per age of the child. So in middle school, I would push for 10 to 12 minutes. And then high school is about 15. That's the most. After that, it tends to get a little too long. I have been known to make 4 or 5 parts to notes, and then I'd have them do one part, activity, second part, activity, and then sometimes I would say, please finish this at home, come back. I would check their notes, and once they had started, it was easier to get them to finish it. And then they also could do it during the lunch, during homeroom. I'd have them do it, like, instead of, you know, you could have the kids sit aside, do their notes instead of the activity. If they don't have it done yet, after a quiz is over, they can do it. So you can kind of just, you know, figure out what management works best for you at that time with your students. So you have to kind of, you know, adapt it to you. So teaching with videos needs to happen during synchronous teaching. Otherwise, you dedicate. Yeah. So that's what I saw. My hope is that because they have their asynchronous expectations on Monday, that I can push them to do it on Mondays just because of the situation going on. So the students have told me they like it better than me lecturing at them. And when I ask them why, they say because I get to pause if I have to go to the bathroom and come back and keep going. Or I can put my closed captions on so I can read what you say. They say that they can rewind and like watch it again if they missed something. They don't, or they could pause it and then write the notes down and to get caught up. So they really liked watching the videos. I use my dot cam in the classroom to make the videos. And then I also, now that we've been at home, I made a lot of videos using Loom and Screencastify. So my Chromebook has the touchboard or the touch screen and a stylus. So I just open up a Google Note and I go into the in there and I just do the screen recording. So I'll do my whole lesson writing out the notes, and then they will watch the video and write out the exact same notes. And that way I can use the color coding and I can put graph paper in there. I can put a picture in there. And so that's what I've been doing. I do plan to go to the classroom and still do some videos from the dot cam because I feel like it is a little bit better for the kids to see my handwriting. It just adds that human personal touch than the computer writing. So I'll probably do, a mixture of videos. And then I have a student teacher or co-teacher this year also. So I'll be training her how to make the videos and she'll be making her own videos as well. So awesome. Questions so far? I'm going to show you this teacher view in a second. Okay, so right now, what is Edpuzzle? Like this reason why you're here. Our district has bought the entire package of Edpuzzle, so you have unlimited data storage of all of your videos. It used to be 15, and then when you signed up through that link, you would get I would get 3 more, and then every person that signed up, I'd get 3 more videos, and so I would be close to filling it up, and they're like, "Oh, you're running out of storage. Here's 3 more videos. Talk to your admin about buying you a site license," which is how Alvarez got a site license in the first place last year, because I kept getting that notice and we needed something, and other teachers were starting to use it a lot more, and we realized the cost benefit was worth it. So our site got a license last year, and then the district bought a license for this whole school year for every site because it is really powerful.
There are 2 questions, Carolyn.
Yeah.
One of them says, what program did you say you use when using the touchscreen and stylus?
Oh yeah, so I have Google Note, so I can show you what it looks like real quick. So I have the Lenovo 500E, and the stylus tool will open up a note. And then the stylus comes with the computer and has a storage in the computer. And so I can project, and then I can change colors. I'm a math teacher, so I want purple, and I want to do some graphing. So I'm going to have graph paper, and then I can just write on here, and the kids see what I write. And so I can, go draw a graph. And the way I'm writing is really shaky right now because of the angle my computer's at. But you can, erase it. Like there's all kinds of different features. I can do lines if I want to handwrite my notes. So, and then when I'm done with it, then it creates a Google Note for me so that then I have that to save. And so during distant learning time, what I did was I had somebody in a Google Meet with me, and they would be asking me questions, and I would be doing that, and I would just record the whole Google Meet. And then I would share the Google Meet in Edpuzzle for students that weren't there, and I'd put some questions in. So does that answer your question? I'll type it in here. So it's a Lenovo 500E. They're only a couple $100 when I looked. So my understanding, we talked about like how much it would cost and if we can ask IT for these new computers, especially for math teachers. And they said, well, you get 1 computer from the district, and then after that, your site has to buy you a new computer. And so I know some teachers will spend their own money to buy whatever teaching tools will make their life easier. And so I looked up how much it was going to cost. So yeah.
So the next question is, so John put that this pulls from Loom as well, or do you have to upload to YouTube?
Yeah, so there's a video that I have earlier on that shows how to take a Loom video, download it from Loom, upload it to YouTube, and then everything is easier in Edpuzzle if it's a video from YouTube. You can upload a video straight to Edpuzzle, but it takes a long time, and it's really, I've had so many like blocks. It's just been really frustrating. So the easiest way that I've learned to do it is I just upload all my videos into YouTube. So I actually have a slide later on talking about that. So the reason why Edpuzzle is the best for me, I think, is that students can watch the video at their own pace. I know who watched it and what it looks like and what their answers were. So I'll show you that in a minute. They can't skip ahead. And if they open another tab, then it shuts the video off. So, or not shuts down, but it pauses it. So the kids can't they can't just like open another tab up and like, you know, play their video game while your notes are going.
So Carolyn, there's another question, and it says, can you do this with Google Slides presentations instead of videos, or videos linked into the presentation?
I would do, so think about your students learning. You want to have, the best practices is that your students need to hear your voice and see your picture to learn the best from you. There's emotional, physical connection that will help them be able to learn better. You're their teacher. They want to see you. We're not going to be in the classroom this year, and well, at least not for a while. We don't know how long it's going to be, but I have to start off my school year with the kids I don't know, creating an environment virtually and having some kind of connection with these students so I can get them to learn. So the best practices of making videos is that you have your voice and your picture for them to connect to so that they can learn better. So what I would do is I would make either like what I showed you with the Google Note, that kind of video using either Loom or Screencastify, or Screencast-O-Matic is the one that I use better, that I like the most, I think. And so that has my picture, but you could take Google Slides and you can just go through the slides using a screen recording, and they see and they hear you going through the slides. That video you upload to YouTube, and then that's what you put into Edpuzzle. So it's, oops, I'm not in the right spot. So Google Keep is a way that you can keep the notes. So when I open that, Shane, I'm going to have to get back to you on that detail. Okay. But it's Google Note is a way that I write. Google Keep organizes all of my notes. Yeah. So definitely use Screencastify or Screencast-O-Matic or Loom or whatever other screen recording you have. I think that's the best way for you to make your videos. So again, like ways that you can do Edpuzzle in class. You can use it for homework. You can have the kids, what they like is I've had kids go back and watch all of my videos before a test or before the final. So the first year that I did this, I had kids go back and they watched a couple of the key videos before they had their final, and they said it helped them so much. So instead of me having to hold study cram sessions and then them coming or not being able to come and like all the scheduling nightmares that happen, they just watched the videos as a review. And they were able to, and since I think once you've watched it once, answer the questions, then they can go back and they can skip over those questions, I believe. So there's a new feature that's called Go Live. I want to practice that, but I don't think I want to practice it yet. So this is kind of like similar from what I've seen to Pear Deck or to Nearpod. It's a way that you can show the video live and it'll stop and they all answer their own questions, and you can see what they wrote and they can have a class discussion, then it'll reveal the right answer. So that's a new feature they added a couple months ago, and I haven't used it with students yet. So if there's time later, I think it'd be fun to play around with that. But it's very similar, comparable, I believe, to either Pear Deck or to Nearpod. Would you also record the live question, answering questions or problems? Yes. So what I did during the spring, because I had, on a good day, 3 kids showing up to Google Meet, was those 3 kids that showed up would ask me questions on the work that I had assigned them. And so I would record that Google Meet, and then I'd post it to Edpuzzle for the kids to watch it if they wanted to watch it. Again, because we didn't have the accountability, it was different. But now with this accountability and grades and everything in the fall, absolutely, I'll be recording all of my classes and giving them access to the kids. And then if you could put it into Edpuzzle, it does take time and work to insert questions. So you could just put it into Edpuzzle as a resource and not assign it to them with a due date. That's a way you could do it. So they have access to it still. I haven't used Pear Deck personally with students. And so I know Edpuzzle gives me a lot of feedback, and I'm going to be using Edpuzzle anyways. And so I believe that I'll probably use this over Pear Deck, but Nearpod has other benefits that this doesn't have that I might want to use Nearpod sometimes. So it just kind of depends on what I want. I'll probably use Nearpod and Edpuzzle the most so far, I think. I haven't used Nearpod with students either. So I haven't, all of that stuff I haven't had time to really learn. So yeah. And so I would love at some point, maybe not right now, but to hear people that like Pear Deck versus Nearpod. Like, I know they have different benefits. And so that's, all three of these could be used synchronously. I know Edpuzzle, I know the other ones you can do asynchronously. I just don't know how it would compare to this. So yeah. How do you assign Edpuzzle? I'll show you that. Individually, let's look at that. Okay. Hold on to that thought, Alejandra. Okay, so here's my thinking for distant learning. So I make notes for students. They watch it before the live class. I answer questions that they have during the live class. I will be able to see who watched it before they come in. So I'll know if I have, no one really watched it yet, I can address that. I will know like, oh, they all answered these questions right. They did really good. I can move on to the next thing, or I can move deeper into those type of problems. So I can use that information before class starts to know what to do. So here's the piece I was talking about with the best videos are under 15 minutes. So between 10 and 15 minutes for high school and 8 to 10 minutes for middle school. Students will use the video to learn content even while not at home from me, their teacher, how I teach, and how I use the language. So they're really learning from me. They're not learning from like Khan Academy. So yes, like I could say, here's a Khan Academy video, or here's a Learn Zillion video, watch that, but I might use the language, slightly differently. I might explain it slightly differently. And I want them to learn from me because I think it will just be better for their learning overall. Not that those are bad, but I feel like they're going to connect to how I talk in the classroom better if they watch my own videos. And then when you're puzzle, and we're going to show you how to do this, you can insert formative questions so you get feedback. You can find common mistakes, misconceptions, you can address them in the future, and so on. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to see what this looks like from a teacher. So, actually what this says, this is, this link right here is actually a link to a blog where someone talks about using Edpuzzle in distant learning. So that's what this is. But let me show you Edpuzzle now. I've already logged in. I'm going to go to my classes. There's so much in here to show you. So I'm going to go to my teacher prep class that you guys all joined. 57 students were assigned this and only 16 of you finished, and that's totally okay. I'm going to look at, it says new answers. So I'm going to go and it says, here's a video. I can see Steve, you didn't watch the video. What's going on? All the way down, and you can sort this different. I'm giving you a hard time, Steve. Then I can see all these students that watched the whole thing, and I can see when they watched it, and I can see that they did it on time. So when I assigned this, I assigned it last night. And then it's due before the day is over today. So if you guys want to, be the stellar student, you go back, and I'm not going to look at it, so don't worry about it. But you could watch this as a student, and I'll be able to know when you have it turned in. And then here are my answers to grade. So I'm going to click on here. And these are ones I need to grade. So the first question was, according to the video, what are benefits of the classroom? And so this was the free response. I only grade free response questions. I don't have to grade multiple selection or multiple choice. And so the benefits, all learning. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this is great. Cassie, great job. 100% done. Next person, Juanita, better scores. Oh, she only put half the answer, and I'm going to give her a 50. Okay, next student. And then I'm going to just go enter. She got her 50%. I could put a comment in there. So I could have said, hey, you only give me one answer, not two, and so on. So I could just be like, okay, great, great, great. And then if I'm like, oh, nope, sorry, that's wrong, I can click on X and it's a 0. So you can modify that. I'm going to be like, more time. Great. Okay, 100. So I could say 100, but I say, please use, oops, where'd it go? If I hit the wrong button. So I'm like, okay, 100. And then if I want to be picky, I think it's for example, I'm presenting, but you can type in there whatever comments you want, like please use complete sentences or whatever it is I want to do. So I'm not going to do that to you guys. This is just for fun, but here's my students and I can just click check, 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 check. Great, done. Here's the next question. And if I forgot what I was asking, I can preview the video. I've used this so many times because I'm like, what did I say again? I want to make sure I answer it. You know, I give them the right thing so I can go back here. And so the next question was this, and then I can just same thing, give them their answers. And then again, same thing, just click, click, click. And so once I've graded it all, then I can see that like these students, got it wrong. These students got it right. These students got this wrong. So this was that multiple selection question. All right. It really isn't, it goes really fast for grading. So yeah, it looks like it's a lot to grade, but remember your classes are 30 something and there's 57 of you in this class. So, but it does go really fast. And a lot of times the questions I ask are really short. So, I mean, there's other ways, like you don't have to ever ask a free response question if you don't want. In math, I will ask them like, what's the solution? And so then I'm just looking for a number. So I'm like, check, check. And then I could also scroll down and be like, okay, sweet. And then I can mark all of the ungraded as correct. So I don't have to actually click on that check mark if they're all right. So bam, 100%. They all got 100%. Done, and then it'll send them back to being done correctly. So again, like you just have to remember when you create your questions, what am I asking and do I want to grade that or not? Is it worth it? Is there a benefit or not a benefit of having that kind of question? So you just have to kind of keep that in mind. Let's see, can you change the value? So I don't ever change the value to be different just because this is just a quick formative thing. I don't always, you can put the grades for Edpuzzle videos in, I would put it in like homework or maybe classwork, but like worth very few points because the whole point of this is for them to watch it to learn. And I don't want to grade them like, oh, you didn't learn right and give them like a 50 because that's all that they got on it. So I usually just leave at 100 and don't worry about that part. I mean, I don't think you can change the value every question. Yeah. So, okay. So now I'm going to go to my grade book because I have them all graded. And I can see I assigned this here. And then I can see in this view that James only spent 54 seconds on the video. So there's nothing for me to look at. I can see their scores on there. This syncs to Google Classroom. So if I had a Google Classroom for you for this class, which I don't, but if I did, I would be able to see this score right here in Google Classroom. And so so that way, like all of your Google Classroom grades are all together. And that is something that I started using last year. And I would like double check and go and see if, like I would double check to make sure it was all accurate and it was perfect. So the one thing you have to make sure of is that if there's 3 dots here, it means that you have to still grade it. So you have to have everything graded before you really look at Google Classroom grades. But yeah, if it syncs to Google Classroom, then it would, it should sync to Synergy. Yeah. And then would you be able to create assignments in Google? You create the assignment in Edpuzzle and it sends it to Google Classroom. So I can show you, I'll do one of those for you. But I wanted you to see that. So I will show you, I can change my grade book. So let's go to my first period. Oops, not that one, just kidding. Let's go here. Nope. Oh, I wonder if all of my stuff got deleted out of there because those classrooms got deleted. I might not have access to any of that data. It's for this video. That's why this video wasn't assigned to those classes. That's why I can't see anything. I'm going to go back here. I'll show you another class and show you what that looks like. How would you change the grading? I would not give them any score, or I'd put like you know, my lowest grade I give on anything is 50% if they've started it. So Brandy, I would probably give them a 50 out of 100 or 5 out of 10 in the grade book, however I was going to grade. And then I would say go back and finish it, and then I would change their grade when they had it done. So I want my kids to do the work. And so if they're going to do the work, but they're going to do it later, I don't penalize them for doing it later, because they're going to learn, and I want that encouragement for them to still go back and do the work to learn something. So, and I also let them do another competition altogether, but I let them do retakes on quizzes and assessments also. Show me that they learn a different way. So I was going to show you this class, their grade book. When you have a lot of, oh, because I'm in the wrong thing again. Oh, no. Okay. The date. That's why. The dates. I'm going to go back to, you can see, you can change how much of the grade book you want to actually see. So I'm going to just go from August to now in this class, and you can see all of these grades. And so you can see there's a lot of zeros still and hundreds. And then sometimes you can see the video that I made them watch in class. There's a lot more hundreds than there are anything else. So like this right here means that it was done like this little clock feature. And so I can see the total time that they spent. I can see their total score, like an average of their Edpuzzle scores right there. So this video has lots of hundreds because they did that one in class. And so a lot of them like started it and then they didn't finish the other ones after that. So, but all this data, I can click on one video and see what I showed you before and show you all of this data for that. I could click on one student and be able to see just their information. So I'm gonna click on Aurelie. So I can see these videos she didn't watch. She watched half of that one and then hundreds. So here's the storybook of the dates was in class, in class, in class, and then distant learning. Well, not a whole lot. So, but that's pretty common. Then I can look through. So the nice thing about this is that if you're with a teacher, with a parent, you can show them this and say, well, there's these videos, but see how they don't watch all of them or what their scores are on them. So you can have that conversation with the families that way. So the information is very powerful in here. So, all right. Questions so far? Forgot to start my question. We will get it. Yes. So there's a lot of stuff in here. One, in the slides itself, I have a half-hour video showing you all of this stuff. And then two, this whole presentation is getting recorded and it will go to Brianna, and Brianna is going to send out a link to all of the session videos. So yes, this will be here. And then also I'm available. You can always email me and I can help you. So it is 2:16 and we've been in here for an hour. I want to give you about a 5-minute break to stretch your legs, to stand up, to move, to go take care of whatever you got to take care of. And then let's come back at 2:22. I love 2. So 2:22, let's come back and we'll continue from there. Awesome. And then if you have questions, I'm going to stand up, but if you have questions, then I'm here. I'm not going to go anywhere. Does anybody know if our Google Classrooms are set up for next year yet?
Nope, I just checked.
Okay.
Neither is Synergy, at least for North.
All right. Yeah, it's still early. Since we don't start till August 10th, it's still early. And there's probably a lot of changes still.
Yep.
Who is that? I can't see you.
It's me. I just blocked it. Blocked myself. It's Sarah.
Oh, hey, Sarah. I was like, I thought that was you by your voice, but I wasn't positive.
Oh, yeah. I don't like the way I look right now, so that's why I just turned the video off.
No worries. No worries at all. I'm teaching I'm helping teach an algebra boot camp with CSUMB with a lot of our kids, like freshmen and sophomores from our district or from North Monterey County. And let me tell you, trying to create a classroom environment, welcoming, and get the kids to talk. And we've had one kid unmute their camera so far. but it's
Wow.
but it's also a voluntary thing, and it's only 2 weeks long. So they don't like, there's no grade, and it's just like a summer boot camp. And there's like 15 or so people that are coming, like regularly in the mornings. So, but it's been a kind of fun trial period to figure out like what to do to make my classroom inviting and to get the kids to talk. And, you know, it's been a learning experience for sure.
That's what I'm dreading and nervous about is the whole, here, welcome to my virtual, I will never see you in person, but this is what I look like.
Right. I mean, we still have to be able to like connect with our kids, because if we want them to learn, you have to have that connection with your students.
I know, but it's
hard.
Yeah, because I love doing it, so much interactive stuff in history, and it's like, here, let me teach you about this.
Yeah.
Read it.
There's so many ways to do interactive work virtually, and that's where like I'm learning is you just have to, it's different, and you can't, it's not just like take the same lesson that I did before and do it again.
Yeah.
So I mean there's different opportunities there. So yeah.
And I think I'll feel better once we get our teaching assignments.
Yeah, I can't believe you don't have yours yet.
Nope. And it's stressing me out because I'm teaching a push for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, different opportunity. I like to learn, and then I like to share what I've learned. And so I always am like, how am I gonna do this? I have a co-teacher this year. Like, she's gonna learn how to teach in this. So
which is almost a really good thing to do, because that way, you know, you're starting out, so you don't know any different.
Yeah, but classroom management in the classroom is way different than classroom management virtually. So that's what I hope we get to go back so she has that opportunity, because it's going to be a whole different
ball game. Yep. I really hope we go back.
I do too. I want to go back when we're safe. That's the biggest thing, is like I have, like my mom has a compromised immune system, and like my husband works at the hospital, and I want us to be safe. And
go ahead, try and do it. Yeah, I get it. I do. I really do. But it's just frustrating.
I know. It's really, and it's so politicized right now too, which is like the frustrating thing.
And I think that's the hardest part is, you know, we've been through a pandemic before during the Spanish flu, but people knew about it, but it wasn't so media and crap.
And it wasn't as intense, I don't think. Yeah. It didn't kill as many people, I don't think.
Well, no, it killed a lot of people, but the problem is, or the benefit, I don't know, but they went through waves because they opened it thinking it was done, and then that's when you had the millions of people that died in the second wave. But we didn't have, here, find this on Twitter, become a doctor, tell me what I'm supposed to do on Instagram.
Oh, right.
And
you
know,
the social media and the news has really
or don't believe the president, believe the president, believe who he's working with, don't believe who's working with. Let's have this during the election. Don't have an election. It's like,
I know. It's crazy.
I think that makes it like 10 times worse.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yep. All right, we're coming back in. It's 2:22. If you're back, can you just give me a yes on the chat so that I know that we get a lot of people are back?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Woo woo. Lots of people saying yes. Never left, Amy. Cool. All right. I already went through that. Okay, I'm gonna start here. All right. So what I want to do is, a lot of you are like, how do I do this? Like, you're itching to get started. And so there's lots and lots and lots of ways to work with Edpuzzle. My experience has been to use YouTube to get the videos from YouTube into Edpuzzle. It's the easiest way. You could copy a lesson from somebody else you can upload from YouTube, or you can upload your own video. These two options, this upload your own video, I'm presenting, right, you guys? Okay. Uploading.
Yes, you are.
Okay, just want to make sure. I was looking at something different on my my other screen. So when I upload a video, this takes longer, and I think there's limits to storage, and it's like the right format or not the right format. So I've struggled with this part. This is the easiest way and the fastest way. And so if I show you my YouTube, I can take anything in YouTube, and this little button here says Edit with Edpuzzle, and I can click it and go straight into Edpuzzle to start editing it. So I would highly recommend that you get that button. So there's a link right here that shows you where the Chrome extension is so that you can get that Chrome extension. And it shows any video in Edpuzzle, this shows up, and it just bypasses that big step. So in Edpuzzle, I'm going to go back to, I'm going to log out and log back in so you can see like the whole thing. So I'm going to log out, and I'm going to log in as a teacher with my Google. Click on that one. All right, so when I come in, I see this. So I learned from one of our teachers at Alvarez that you can create folders to organize all of your material. And so right now I only have these videos here because I spent some time yesterday organizing. But I want to show you real quick like how you can do that, but I'll probably show you a little bit later. So you can organize your videos by classes. And so if I click on, this is the one we're doing, the videos for the PD. These are all videos that I've made and have put into Edpuzzle for whatever reason. So this is the one that you watched this time. And I've used this one in the past. And this is my Zoom video on how to use a thing called Classroom Zoom, which is a whole nother cool feature I can tell you about later. So these are all videos that I've made into different things. If I want to be like, dude, at my site, I have a lot of stuff in here. Paul is this amazing, awesome Math 3 teacher. I want to take his video. I love it. I don't have time to make my own. I'm going to make a copy of his video so that it's mine. I'm going to move it to the folder that I've already created, or I can create a new folder. So I'm going to say videos from Paul. And I'm going to create it in there. And so I'm going to put it there, move. Okay. And so I might have put it in the wrong folder, but that's okay. You get the idea. And so now this is, that is the video. I want to start editing this. So I'm going to go to edit. And here's all the features. So again, this was Paul's video. So I made a copy of it. I can do 3 different features. I can cut a video. So his video, it looks like, I think this was a test one. Looks like it was 23 seconds. No, just kidding.
Welcome to lesson 1.7. This is
right. So, his whole video is 9 minutes and 59 seconds. So almost 10 minutes long. But I want just a cool part of his video. So I'm going to start it at the beginning. I'm going to add a cut. Let's see, play.
Welcome to lesson 1.7. This is
all right. And then I'm going to add a cut. So I'm going to cut out part of his video. I'm going to go add cut. It will, now there's a cut there, and I can move this. I'm going to delete those questions. Yep, I don't want those things there. Delete it. And now I have this beginning part, and maybe I was like, oh, I don't want that whole thing. I want to move it. I want more of that part. So I can move this and then play over here. Again, like you would be watching this video to see exactly what it says. So you know you're going to cut the right spot. I'm going to add another cut. And it shows you down here on the bottom how long your new video is. So you could take someone's awesome 1-hour lecture and cut it down into your 15-minute video if you wanted to do that.
Carolyn, 3 questions.
Yes.
So one of them says, do we get IT to add this Chrome extension, or do we have access to do so?
I did it by myself.
And then can teachers collaborate on the same video on Edpuzzle?
I believe that one person would make it and the other, so I could make a video and put it into my content, and then Juanita could take my video and make a copy of it so it's hers, add in the questions, and then I could take Juanita's video and then use it myself. So yes, but you can't work on it live at the same time. So it's not like a Google feature where you can work all together and do multiple things. It would be kind of in pieces like that. But I could take anyone's video and make it mine and then mess with it. So YouTube videos, you can take a YouTube video and do this to it also. So this cut feature is actually new recently. You used to be able to trim on either end, so you could get like the middle pieces or like however you want. But now there's a smooth cut. So when it actually plays the video, it plays this part, it skips all that, and goes straight to there. There's in the slides, there's the name for the extension is in there. It is, it probably is like Edit with Edpuzzle or something like that.
Okay, there's.
I would focus on doing that later though, not right now, I think.
Okay, the other question is, what about copyright issues and citing sources for the videos that you use?
So you would, that would be, yeah. So I mean, if it's a video, if I use my own video, then they know it's me, so there's no copyright issues. You could be very careful. I, again, like, because it's for education, there's so many forgivanesses for copyright. And like, I'm not going to make money off of any of this. It's just part of my job educating my kids. And so I don't worry about the copyright that much, just because I never have felt like I needed to. Like you said, like the video that I showed you, I made sure that the whole thing had the who made it and all of that. And I was going to say, I didn't make this, so I'm not taking credit for it. So that's kind of how I would go around it. But you can take any YouTube video and make it your own this way. So in one of my sub plans, I took an hour-long documentary on like I think it was like something about like math history. And I had my students watch that. It was by BBC and it was a video on YouTube, and it very clearly says it's BBC. And I'm not taking credit for it, but I am putting questions in there so my kids have to stop and answer questions. So it's Edpuzzle. There's a link right up there. The thing, I'll put it up there for the extension. So anyways, you can cut this however you want. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to delete those events. And then now here's my video. Once I have this part done, you can see this video's down to 4 minutes. I can go to the voiceover, and if I want to talk over part of the video, I can do that. If I want to take a video in English and I want to do the lecture over the entire video in Spanish or in French or in Japanese or Italian or whatever language I'm speaking or my students need to know, then I can voice over the entire video in that language. And so I have seen teachers record in English and then record over the voiceover in Spanish. So I could see, like, Juanita, you do a lot of the translating for your students. I could see you doing that for your students. So the entire lecture, the notes themselves are going to be the same, but you can voice over and explain in Spanish for your students. So you can do voiceover for part of it, for the whole thing. It's just you can play around with it, and you can do that. So that's kind of a cool feature. It used to be when they first started this that it was a whole video or not at all, but now they've changed it so it can be just part of the video. And then last but not least, here's the most powerful part, and these are your questions. And so you have 3 options for questions. You can put in multiple choice. And why is it giving me like a funny, there it goes. So math teachers, they have functions. So like the function feature, so you can use these symbols to help you with writing math. You could insert a picture, you could insert a link, you can do x squared or the subscripts in there. And then you can use different fonts. So you would type your question here, whatever that question is, and then you can put your choices. And then if they choose this question, you can give them feedback on that choice. So let's say like the answer was, this is the correct one. I'm just not writing details, but that was correct. My feedback, I can say, great job, you got it right. And then if they chose this one, this was the wrong one, then I can give them feedback that says, ooh, did you, and then like whatever it was that they, like the mistake that they would have made for that one, then you can give that feedback to them. So when they see what their score was on that question, they get that feedback right away. So you can add more questions in there or more answer choices. You can have more than one correct. So this would now be a multiple selection and not multiple choice. The problem with multiple selection is if they get one right and one wrong, the whole thing is wrong. So they don't do the partials in there. I've stopped using the multiple selection because it gets the kids frustrated, and they could be partly right and they just didn't choose this one and they got the whole thing wrong. And so again, for this purpose is for them to learn and for me to know what they know and what they don't know. So I'm going to make life easier for me and for them and just have one right answer. I can do multiple selection questions somewhere else where it's not going to do that for them. So I want to lower, especially with virtual right now, I want to lower whatever anxiety or frustrations or fears or negative feelings my students are going to have. So if I can do that by only having one right answer and not two for this learning, then I'm going to do that. So whatever. Okay. So you have choices now. You can have one question at this spot, or you can add in another question. And so I'm going to hit save this question. And then
all right, now that we know that,
pause. Okay. So inserted my question that I had. Where did I put my question? Was there my question? Oh, what happened to it? I think I pressed the wrong button. Okay. So we're going to go here. Oh, it's right. Oh, it's at 4:02. That's why. Here's the question I just made. So once I have this question, I can put in another one also. So maybe I want an open-ended question now. Then I can put my open-ended question. So you can have more than one question at every place that it stops. So I believe in the video that you guys watched, there were 2 questions in one spot. So you can do that. And then you can preview this whole video before you're done to make sure that it sounds like what you want it to sound like, to make sure that the questions you want to ask are in there, that they're correct. Make sure that if you have multiple choice, that you say the right answer instead of, you can move those check marks around. Let's make sure you have it. And then once I'm all done, I'm going to go finish. And so here's my final video. You can watch it to preview it. And then you have these choices down here. You can assign, you can edit again, you can duplicate it, make it so you have 2 versions of it, or you can be like, that sucks, I'm going to delete it. And you can just get rid of the entire thing and then start over if you want to. So I'm going to go through and assign and show you how easy this is. So I've already uploaded my students into my classes through Google Classroom. And so once we have our classes this year, it's really easy to create a new class. So I'm going to add a new class. I'm going to put Math 1, period 1, and I'm going to say whatever I want here. And then I'm going to say import class, Google Classroom. And then it says I don't have any in Classroom right now because they got rid of all of our classes. But when you have classes in there, you click on the class and it imports all of your students for you. So I can't show you that because all of our classes are gone. So that's the easiest way. So what I was doing here with this add new class, this is what I did for your class for this session, was I put one here, I created the class, it gives me a class code. So I'm just gonna put Math 1 and then whatever description. And once a classic, then you can't do the live classes. It's just for you. If you do open, then you can open it for anyone that's the class code. No one has to sign in for it. So like this one, maybe if I had done that, it would have been better for this session because there wouldn't have been a sign in. But then you also don't, you can still see progress this way with that. Okay, so I'm gonna click, usually I've only done the classic personally, but once I create the class, then it's here. So now, okay, I had the video, I created my class, I'm gonna assign all. And then someone asked if I could assign manually. And so it's not letting me choose that, but the option is there. So maybe you can, but I've never done it before. I've just given to all of my students at the same time. when I want them to see it. So this is the part for those of you that plan ahead, which I think a lot of us do. If I don't want them to get this video until, let's say I'm working now, I don't want them to get it till August 17th. Then I'll click on August 17th. That's when it's going to post in Google Classroom. That's when they're going to see it. Then when I want it due, let's say on the 19th, give them a couple of days, or a lot of times last in the spring, I would assign it Monday and it was due by Friday. So I would do that. The time you can change, hit save. You can prevent skipping or not. I always do because I want them to watch the whole thing. And then turn the closed captions on or off. You can do that. So I have them on. And then this class is not one in Google Classroom, so I can't click there, but I can choose to have it posted in Google Classroom or not. And so when I have assigned it into Google Classroom, then it goes into those scheduled posts, not into the stream, which was cool. Okay, so Megan was asking the extension. Yes, the extension just makes it easier to go from YouTube into Edpuzzle. I'll show you how to use that without the extension. You don't have to have it. And then sometimes they're added and deleted again in the classroom. So when that happens, let me finish this and I'll show you that part, Kyle. All right, so I'm going to say yes, yes. Ideally, you'll be able to say right here, put in Google Classroom. If like with our kids, we will be able to say that and it'll post. And so I'm going to say assign. And then that video has been assigned to that class. And so I could go then to my classes. And that was the one I just created, Math 1. And then this is the assignment that they're going to have. And it says the start date is August 17th. The due date is the 21st. The way to get around what you're talking about if they get deleted from the class is, I'm going to go into this class. Here, you can, these are all students from your Google Classroom. So you can say import. And so what I do is I just click on import students and it'll look and I'll be like, oh, these students are not in your roster and I'm going to import them. So the kids, like when they first come to me, I'm like, okay, we're going to use Edpuzzle. You need an account. Come here. I'll show them how to get into Edpuzzle. I'll import them and they're in there and it's done. So it's really easy for you to import your students that might have gotten kicked out. All right. So that was a lot, like a lot. I know. What I want to do is go back to content. I want to pause. And then now I've shown you the questions you can put in. I've shown you how to assign it. I can't show you Google Classroom because we don't have access to Google Classroom right now because we don't have our kids in there. And so I could like have you guys go in and Google Classroom account and show you that way, but I don't think it's worth the time. I think that I have videos that show that. You can go back and look at those if you still need that support, or I can help you later. So Edpost posts into which part of Classroom? So you can have it go into the assignments. And if you have your assignments go into the stream, it'll be there also. So, but if you're posting an assignment, it goes into the assignment section. And then I usually will move it into that week. So I organize my Google Classroom by weeks. And so I'll just like drag and drop it into the right week for me. Are they prompted to create their own account? No, because I've created their account for them. So when they post into Google Classroom, oh, I wish I could see my classroom. When the post is in Google Classroom, they click on the link for the video in the assignment and it opens up right into Edpuzzle. They don't have to, I don't even have to sign in. They might have to sign in, but it'll already have the account. So I just tell them sign in with your school Google account and start watching the video. So I've never really had kids struggle with getting into Edpuzzle. They figure it out real quick. Other questions? Okay, cool. Other questions?
Yes, I had a question. When I tried linking Google Classroom with the Edpuzzle sometime in the spring, a disclaimer will appear regarding the students' privacy and email and so forth, and asked me to confirm whether I wanted to do that or not.
Yeah, do
it. And I said no.
Oh.
So I never assigned it because I was like, okay, they're ID numbers and
yeah.
So is it a yes from the district?
I would say yes. Yeah. When I remember I ran across that question, and they, from what the answer I was told is that we're using it for education and this is an education platform, and they said yes, do it. Mainly also because their ID numbers are only attached to school, it's not their social security numbers, and it's not gonna, like, if someone were to hack the system, they're not gonna be able to do anything with that information. So that's kind of a security thing, but I said yes. So I gave them access to
doing it from home, like I don't know, like whether our whatever that is, internet, it's like it's secure. We have security, but I don't know, like how.
Yeah, but again, like most likely they're on. That's a question I guess to ask.
Robert?
I don't know if Brianna or Jen are in here. I know Brianna was earlier, but I think that might have just been a start. So I can ask that question, but I'm personally going to say yes, because, and the district bought this for us for our kids to be using. And if we say no, then we can't use all those features.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say yes. And then if you don't feel comfortable with that, or you want to talk to either like Dan or Blanca or like someone else who might be able to give you more of the legalese answer to that, then maybe you can do that. Let me know what they say, but I'm going to
it's too old for us to use it. That we are assuming yes, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's my guess. Yeah. So I haven't been made aware of any issues from any students that have used Edpuzzle. I haven't had any negative feedback on that. That's a good question. Okay. Only certain documents have, okay. Yeah. So I use my DocCam to make videos, but yeah, only most of the DocCams do. A lot of the newer ones do, and I save it on a USB. So let me go into here. I wasn't going to go through all the details because I don't have a DocCam for you to practice on, and it's different. So these slides, I want to just point out, they're here for you to use, especially once Google Classroom starts. You have access. If you lose it, email me. I can give it to you again. But this tells you step by step how to create your classrooms and sync to Google Classroom. And then tells you how to do the content and to assign it. All is what I talked about, the voiceovers, the questions. I just talked through all of that. The types of questions you can ask and the benefits of them I have in there. This is a new slide I just added recently about organizing the folders. And so I definitely would recommend, I have like 60 something videos. And so now I'm like, oh, Math 1, I want these videos. I might use the same video, or I might edit that video to fit the needs of my students. I definitely last year had a couple of videos that I've used for Math 2 and that I used for Math 1 because of whatever that content was. I think it was on similarity of triangles. And that was a review for my Math 2 students, but my Math 1 students were learning it. And the way the video was made was introduction to it. And so I was able to reuse that video. So my planning for the day was look and make sure the video was exactly what I wanted, make the copy of whatever handout they were using, and assign. And it was really easy to do that. And so a couple of videos I want that I'm using, I put in my content. I want for Math 2 and Math 1. And so these are the Math 2, but you see where it says copy of? All I did was I clicked on this and I said duplicate. And then I found the copy of the copy, or it said copy. And then I'm going to move it where I want it to go. I want that in Math 1 also, and move. And so now I have 2 of the same videos in 2 different classes so that I can look at it and I can see, I can use it wherever it is. So this will help with organization. If you teach multiple preps, it's helpful. I don't teach Math 2 anymore. Well, I haven't last year or this year, but I might again. And the content hasn't changed that much. So I can use some of these videos over again in Math 2 if I teach it again. And then sometimes you can see it says like part 2 and one that was part 5. And so I'm very clear with my titles so that the students know if there's more than one video of that series, so they watch it in order. And so I have those on there. These notes you can see I did on my computer with the Google Note feature with the stylus. These are with my DocCam. So if you can see my hand, it's with the DocCam. and it's exactly the same notes they would take in class. So in here, I believe I have directions on, yeah, here it is, on how to use the .cam. So this is this one. Okay, no, this is assigning it. Right, so I think in here somewhere there's directions on using, there we go, how to make the video on the .cam. So this is how I use my .cam to work, and most .cams work the same way. So if you're in your classroom, you can pull these slides up and look through this. But right now, because we don't have that, I don't want to take our time for that. So any other questions? Yeah, slide 31 has a .cam. And then I also have how to upload into YouTube, the step-by-step directions. So every single teacher in our district has their own YouTube account. And so if you sign in YouTube, especially if you're already into Google, then this little icon, your whatever Google account icon you have, is right here. And so if you're uploading a video, you just go to create, upload video. And then you can select the file. So I usually do this when I have my my zip drive or my USB drive already in there. So I'll select the video file from there. I think I can pull a video up from my, yep, I can pull it up from my drive too. So let's see, from my drive. I was awesome girl that I can upload her video for you real quick. Under, oh, this is so not organized. There it is. All right, I have a video. Where is Rosie? There she is. Okay, so here's a video I'm going to upload to YouTube. I'm going to show you just how quick and easy it really is. So title, that's the title of the video. So I'm going to keep that the same. So I'm going to just put Rosie, whatever description you want, explains CI. CI is complex instruction, which I presented on yesterday with Leticia. So I don't do any of that stuff. I'm just going to say, yes, it's meant for kids. And then I'm going to click on next. It's uploaded. You can see right here how long it's going to take. And this changes kind of depending on the timing and your internet speed and what else you're doing and whatnot. So as it's uploading, I'm just going to go to next. I don't really touch things like that. You can make it private or you can make it public. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do. I'm going to make it private. You can schedule it if you want to, but I don't see the point for this purpose. I don't ever do that. I'm going to hit save. All right, so now it's processing. So I'm just going to cancel. It'll show up right here. So it's pending still. So as soon as it's up, it's going to give me a link, and then I can just go and look at it and upload to YouTube. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to get the link. I'm going to show you, if you don't go through YouTube, you can, when you're in your content, down here, you can grab videos other teachers made. If you click on Edpuzzle, there are all these videos, huge database full of videos that are pre-made in Edpuzzle. This one, you see this little icon here, and it says there's 4 questions or notes, whereas this one has nothing. So there's no questions in there at all. It's just the video. So this one, someone's asking about the copyright issue. This says history right there, history channel, so that you know that's where that came from. And so you can search. So I'm going to search by math because that's what I teach. So you can click on math and you can start playing around with it. You could type in, I'm going to put factoring, and just see what comes up. So then, like, if I don't have time to make a video, I can take time and look through these, and you can use other people's videos. Best practices is that you won't. Best practice is that you make your own videos, but I mean, there's really good videos out there. Use them. There's no reason not to use them. So you can look through things that are there on Edpuzzle already. You can go to YouTube, and this is where I was saying I'm going to put that link in there from the video that I saw. it has to be public, not private. All right, I'm gonna grab a video that is public. Okay, so you got to make it public, not private. Just learned that. This one I made public. Share the link. Probably has to be public because you're going to be sharing it with students and it's going to be shared. And then there's the video that I got from YouTube, and then I can do all of those features. So you can search YouTube in Edpuzzle. So someone asked, is Edpuzzle my favorite way to edit videos? If so, is that after posted on YouTube? I am not a video editing expert, and I don't use or know how to use many other video editing programs. And so it is what it is when I put a video on YouTube. So I usually will take my video, might take 2 takes sometimes, maybe I mess up, I'll make 3 takes, but I'll make my video and then I'll put it into YouTube and I'll put it into Edpuzzle. And then all the editing that I do in Edpuzzle. I've never found a reason to do the cutting because if the video that I made for my students, I have everything in there. I did use the cut when I uploaded my the recording of one of my Google Meets with students. I cut that down from the hour long it was to just the part that was important for them to, like the lesson part. And so all of our like side conversation and all of our like just, you know, earlier stuff, I cut that out. So the Edpuzzle video that was put in there was just the lesson, but I did that once it was already in YouTube. I mean, yeah, so once I was in Edpuzzle is where I did that. So low tech, it's like that's all I ever use for any kind of editing is cutting it. I haven't even had a reason to use the voiceover. And I use it for the questions mostly. Because the whole purpose for me is, again, I want them to learn from a video because I can't be in front of them right now. So I'm going to make a video the best that I can for them. I'm not going to worry about being a YouTube star and having like all, you know, the fancy light that they're trying to sell you all these like fancy tools to make these perfect videos. It is what it is, guys. Like I'm human too. And so I'm not going to spend a ton of money on all these fancy things and hours making these long, perfect videos that you would find on YouTube. I want them to see me as a person also struggling through this pandemic just like they are. And so I'm going to make a video. The content will be quality because that's what I do, but I'm not going to stress over like, is it perfect or I said that wrong or any of that. Like I personally, I'm not going to do that. I don't have the mind space, the energy. I have 3 young kids. I'm going to be helping my twins that are going into 4th grade with all of their classes. So I'm not going to stress over that. If you can and you are good at that, then you can teach me, please. I'd love to know how to do more editing on videos, but I don't have the mind space or the emotional time and like just, I can't. So I haven't done that. So the students never search Edpuzzle to get a video. The students always go in Google Classroom and they click on the assigned video and it opens up for them to watch it. So it's not organized for student use in Edpuzzle, except for they click on the video that I've assigned them and they do it. I believe if the student signs into the classroom, then they can see all of their, let me sign into a class that I'm part of. I'll log out. I know we're getting close on time too. It's almost 3 o'clock. So I'm going to log in as a student and I'll show you what it looks like. So if a student signs into Edpuzzle, they have, if you don't give them through Google Classroom, then they can add a class and then use the class code. That's what you guys had to do. And so I've done different trainings with Edpuzzle, which is on the very last page of my slides. And so these are all classes that I took with them. So for example, here's module 4.8, do assignments. There's nothing, so I did them all, completed assignments. So I can look here, show all 4 assignments. These were the lessons that I had to do for that module. So the students are able to see in their class their due assignments the ones with no due date, and the ones that are completed, as well as their grades. So this is what a student would see. All right. Does that help, Megan? Yeah, okay, cool. Let's see. Okay, any other questions so far? So that's the YouTube part. This is what I'm going to show you. So when I'm at home, I have two different programs that I'm using. I'm either using Loom or Screencast-O-Matic. They both have their special features to use, and there's workarounds for Loom if I want to use that. So in Loom, you have to, and I have directions on that the very first slide, and then also slide 29 has a like 9-minute video of how to go from Loom into YouTube, into Google Classroom, or into Edpuzzle. So that tells you how to do it. And there I show you how to do it. Loom, you cannot go from Loom and post to YouTube. So you have to do that. The benefit of it is that you have unlimited length of recordings and unlimited storage of recordings. And there's cool features that you can upgrade for. And I didn't see how much it costs because I didn't want to get a quote for it. But you can get upgrades, like you can write on the screen when you're talking and all these other features that you could pay for. Screencast-O-Matic will cut you off for 15 minutes, which could be good because you can see the length of your video. And if you only want a 15-minute video, you got to figure out how to wrap that up if it's 14 minutes. And so that could be a good time management tool. You have free unlimited amount of videos with Screencast-O-Matic. What I like and what I have here, I'm going to present this a little bit bigger, is when you're done with your video in Screencast-O-Matic, then you have these options. You can save it as a video. You can upload it into Screencast-O-Matic itself. You can upload it to YouTube right away, right from Screencast-O-Matic. So that just makes uploading a lot easier. Or you can move it into Google Classroom, upload it there. So you can do one of those 4 things. And so most of my videos that I've done on my Chromebook for the screencasting, I've used a Screencast-O-Matic because it's just much faster. If you want to have longer length of videos and other tools, it's only $1.65 a month in order to do that. So I'm depending on, we'll see how things go. If I feel like I want those features, then I might. But most of my recordings are not me talking through a PowerPoint to my students. Most of my recordings are me writing anyways. So I will probably, I don't know, we'll see if I upgrade or not. So, but that is an option. So those are the 2 that I use personally. I know Screencastify is a big deal and people like that one, and there's nothing wrong with that. Personally, I ran into all kinds of frustrations, and then when I got Screencast-O-Matic, I didn't have that. And so I kept using the Screencast-O-Matic. And then Loom, I just learned about last year in the spring, and I like it, but I still kind of like Screencast-O-Matic better. So, okay, questions. You have Edpuzzle Basic. So right now you have 15 slots for videos right now, and all the features are the same. So the board just approved purchasing Edpuzzle for the entire district at the board meeting on Tuesday. So I'm assuming that either Brianna or Jen are going to be sending out an email with the information to upgrade you into the pro version of Edpuzzle. And if they don't, it might just be done automatically because it's a whole district that was purchased for. So I wouldn't worry about that. What does happen is before my site bought Edpuzzle, I shared the video, or I shared the link with other teachers. It says like invite teachers. I'll show you in here. I got to sign in as a teacher again. It says invite teachers, and it gives you a special code. And that special code, if they sign in through that code, you get 3 more videos. And then as I got closer to 15, to whatever my max was that I had, then it still gave me extras saying, make sure you get this, make sure you, consider getting the pro, but here's 3 more videos for you to use. So like I never ran into a problem where I had no storage left at all. But we should be getting the, so you did run out of storage space, Cassandra. Yeah, so if you invite teachers, then you can get more storage. but it's coming soon. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it should not be very long. The board approved it on Tuesday. So right here it says invite teachers. And then you just like share this on Facebook. Share this in a teacher book thing on Facebook. Say, hey, I saw this Edpuzzle thing. It's cool. Check it out. Here's a link. And then they sign in through that link and you both get storage. And so you just copy the link here. And then I would just copy that. So that's one way to get more storage. Is the sound loud enough for the videos that are on your Chromebook? All right. So through trial and error, yes, it's loud enough if I do it on my Chromebook. However, if I'm touching the screen and I'm writing with my stylus, they hear little clicks because they hear whenever I touch the screen. And so I learned that if I use my headphones to record the audio through the mic through the headphones, that it was a much clearer sound. And so I started doing that. You could, though, a lot of the videos in Loom that I've done through that are like showing you how to use Edpuzzle. Those videos are just with the computer audio. And it's perfectly loud enough. It's fine. Yeah. If you delete a video, then yes, you get more storage. So yeah, if you delete videos, you could get more storage. Absolutely. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to go back to the slides. So just a quick little thing. Thank you, Kyle. That you've all seen this. This is our, like, you know, the different, what's the term for this? I didn't write the term. Just the, not, I want to say Maslow's, but that's not it. Was it this Bloom's taxonomy? Like the Bloom's. There we go. I need to write that on here. So this is Bloom's, and in a normal classroom, what happens because of our time, teachers give information. So the kids are remembering, understanding, applying. And then their independent time at home, they would do this much, much, much higher order thinking. That's really hard. Well, if you do with a flipped classroom, the kids get the information here on their own independently or asynchronously. And then in the classroom, you can focus on doing this with your class, whether it's using Teams or using collaborative tools or whatever tools you're going to be using, whatever activities and debates and all of the cool stuff you guys do. This is where you can focus your energy, and they can do this stuff at home and asynchronously. So you get the max, the bang for your buck. So yeah, the sound is definitely, I think, better for the recordings if you're using headphones. Especially if you have a good high quality headphones, it'll be a lot better. But it's good enough without is what I want you to know, is that if you don't have good quality sound, you know, Bluetooth headphones or whatever with the mics, that it is okay with the Chromebook. Okay, I have just a couple more things. I'm not going to go through all these things. These I just copy and paste straight from Edpuzzle. And these are tips of what Edpuzzle says, how you can use this in math and science, in languages, in social science, in special ed, in ASL, with subs, with in-class flips, with PE, and for PDs, and for music. And then just a couple last few-minute thoughts. I'm going to leave them here. I'm not going to read them to you just because I don't want to waste your time for that, but they're here. Accountability is important. Make sure that your kids know you're looking at it. You've got to teach your kids how to use it so that they can learn correctly and so they don't run into these like frustrations. You can make your video the different ways I talked about. And then you're going to spend a lot of time up front making videos. It's just going to be a thing. You have to do it because once you do that upfront work, then as you get used to it, you'll get faster with the videos. And then you're going to learn techniques and you're going to learn, you're going to be better. And then in the spring, here's what I'm excited about. Fall, we teach a full year class. So I'm going to teach everything for Math 1 in one semester. In the spring, I repeat the class. I have 2 sections of Math 1 in the spring. I get to take all of my videos from the fall and say, here's your video. So my prep time is a lot less for the spring. And because I want to make sure that my kids have as much equity as possible, whether they had fall or spring, then it would be, you know, worth my time to make good videos in the fall. It'll pay off in the spring as I repeat the class for my second and fourth and sixth period classes. And I don't have a prep my first semester. I don't have a prep. And so I'll be spending a lot of those afternoons and a lot of the those Mondays, and of course nights and weekends, because we all do that, making videos, modding, or editing things. My co-teacher will be making videos and editing things, and doing the best that we can in the fall. So the spring is going to be easier for us. Xbox headphones, awesome. Automatically upgraded to Pro based off your school email. Oh, okay, there you go. Thank you, Jeannie, for that. So yes, use your school Gmail because that's what's associated. Yes, yes, yes. Good. Cool. How do you achieve or archive or delete from last year? Okay. The classes. Okay. I don't know. Let's find out. I've done it before. So let's go to my classes. And oh, I know. You're going to go to, let's see. I'm going to delete this one that I don't want anyways. I just created. I'm going to go to class options. At the bottom, delete class. Yes, delete it. Gone. That easy. So really and truly, like I have the data from my Math 1 classes last year and my senior class last year. Do I need that data for anything at all? I don't. So I could delete all of those classes. And that'll make this year when you're teaching, you're only going to have your 3 classes or your 2 classes right here. I would definitely have every period be its own class for sure, because then you're going to be able to see just that class working. What I like doing is when I give them that assignment, I'm going to go to the grade book. This grade book updates on like right as they're watching it, it's upgrading. So I'm going to go back so it can show where a video was. So when I do this in class, my students, I could watch, I could sit here on this view and I can watch as these numbers change and move, and it pushes the kids who have the most completed towards the bottom. So it's live information for me to be able to use to monitor. So I can be like, hey, Ruben, what's happening? How come we haven't started yet? So it helps me with that management. They're like, oh, I was trying to, and then we can solve the problem and make it started, and then we're good. So this view here, distant learning wise, maybe I want them to watch a video during my synchronous class, because I want to take 20 minutes in the beginning for them to watch a video so I can use that content. Then I can sit here while they're at their houses all across the city, and I can watch their progress here, and I can see what they're doing, and then I can comment and talk to them about what's going on if I need to. So the accountability piece this is a really nice feature right there. So you're welcome. Thank you for attending. I appreciate it. Here's what I want to do. It is 3:11. The last slide on here I want to show you is, please, this is my 4th or 5th time, I think, presenting Edpuzzle, but it changes every time. This is my 2nd time doing it virtually. So give me constructive feedback so that I can make this better for next year or for the next time that I present this. I'm sure I'll be doing it at least once or twice for my staff through some of our PDs. So these are the same links, and these are goes to the eval. It should be the right eval. It should be the right link, I hope. And then here's my email address. If you have ideas or you realize something works better for you, or you're like, oh, dude, I learned that we can, please share it with me so that I can share out to everybody else, and then so that I can continue learning, because you guys know a lot and you guys are experts also. And so if you figure out something that was really cool that I haven't shared, I'd love to add it to this PowerPoint. So again, you have the slides. Some of the slides have 30-minute videos and 9-minute videos to watch if you got lost or you need to like get a refresher in 2 weeks when we have our classes and you've got to do all these things. You have the slides, and they're not going to either upgrade, they're updated. So this bit.ly link, people throughout Facebook have them because they're like, what's Edpuzzle? I'm like, oh, here's my PD here, and then they can watch it. So you have these access. Email me. I'm around. You're welcome. Any other questions?
Ms. Wormley?
Yes.
I'm trying to upgrade my Edpuzzle account, and it says that I need a code. Do you know who's got the code?
What site are you at?
Everett Alvarez High School.
Oh, is this Joanne again? Hey, so who is this?
Jose.
Oh, Jose, sorry. We have a code buried in emails. Belina, if you're still on here, do you have that code handy that you could give to Jose? Oh, but Brian says sign in with Google. If you had your account before, it might ask you for the upgrade code. I know that was happening last year with some teachers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Carolyn, it's Jen.
Hey.
So I think it was an email from Kathy that said that we'll be getting the codes. She's putting the purchase orders in, and then she'll have the codes for us. So I don't think we have them yet.
Well, Belina says she found one from earlier in the year because our site purchased this actually before for our site. And so we have a different code probably than what we're going to get from the district because we already have it. So that's what Belina, oh, there it is. It's SP Deer.
Cool. Okay.
Cool. Thank you. Nice to hear you, Jen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Belina. Anybody else? Questions? Yeah, sorry, Rachel. Like I said, they just approved it on Tuesday. So, it just takes time for things to get going. But you should, Rachel, be able to at least get started and play around with it and make one or two like welcome introduction videos. Thanks, Juanita. Cool. Yeah, you're tinkering. Good. Yeah, the only way you're going to learn it is by playing around with it. Definitely. You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks, Laura.
I want to say bye. Mackenzie wants to say bye.
Bye, Mackenzie.
You see her?
I miss you.
You're right here in this little corner right there. You see?
Thank you, Belina.
You're right there next to my.
You're welcome, Susanna.
Okay. Say bye, Carolyn.
Bye, Kenzie. Tell Madison I said hi.
She was asking for Miles.
Oh, he's at preschool. There's no kids at our house right now, except the dogs.
Must be nice.
You're welcome. Steve, was this helpful this time around? Are you still here, Steve? Thank you, David. Feel free, David, to pass this off to your peers. The Bitly, anybody could use it. So, Steve, was this, were you able to use Edpuzzle last year? No, you were in the session last year. You were playing around with it.
Hi, yeah, Carolyn. I used it spring semester and in summer school, and it really, really helped in summer school.
Sweet.
I bounced back and forth between Nearpod and Edpuzzle, and I wound up finding Edpuzzle just integrated a lot better with Google Classroom.
Oh,
so it was a lot better for grading, getting the kids in there.
That's really good to know. Did you ever use the live version with the kids?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I just recorded the meetings and then posted them up on Google Classroom. But the assignments and the homework, I put that on Edpuzzle.
Nice, cool, awesome. I'm glad that it was helpful for you. You're welcome, Jose.
Yeah, thanks for the extra tips.
You're welcome. I know there's always new little things to add in, especially with distant learning. I'm very curious to see how it helps with distant learning for the kids. So you're welcome, Maria. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. This is Cassie. I just wanted to say I've used Edpuzzle, but I was interested in learning more about how you use it because I know you use it in like a more classroom-based way, and so it was really interesting.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, and as you use it throughout the fall too, like as we get started, let me know what you discover, and then like either like what barriers are you hitting, or like what things are really successful, so we can kind of problem solve together.
Yeah,
'cause I'm sure I'll have the same problems.
Yeah, I think this year, because in the past I've never really made videos, but sometimes, I mean, I may not always make videos, but I'm gonna have to sometimes make videos, because last year I was running into problems where certain kids that maybe they were struggling, I need to know maybe why they're struggling, and I think this is gonna help me a lot, is maybe putting some of my videos on Edpuzzle and saying, okay, this is gonna be an assignment just to watch it. That way I can troubleshoot better.
Yeah, I really found that once I had the accountability through the Edpuzzle like gradebook, and I knew when they saw it, what they saw, how they answered the questions, that accountability piece really made a difference for the kids. There wasn't that excuse, especially with the distant learning. Like, yeah, some of the kids did watch it in Edpuzzle, but also watched it in YouTube because the videos are there in YouTube. So they'd find it in YouTube, they'd watch it through YouTube, but then they would still use it in Edpuzzle. So like, I didn't really know why they did that, but maybe they wanted to watch on their phones instead of the computer. I don't know. Or I think before the closed captions were available in Edpuzzle, that happened a lot more because they would put the closed captions on in YouTube and then would watch that, because I think just the video, like the seeing it with the closed captions was easier for them.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much. I appreciated it.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Rosalina, absolutely use the slides. There's a lot of information on there that I didn't want to just go over every little piece. So it's all written down for you. I designed these slides to be used for you to be able to use without having a presenter.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hey.
Hey, this is Mr. Rivera from Edpuzzle Middle School, and so I just went to my Edpuzzle. I'm using my work email, and it doesn't. It still shows the basic Edpuzzle. So who would I contact to?
Well, it hasn't been. You're not at Alvarez, right? You said you're at one of the middle schools.
Yes,
Yeah. So it hasn't been put through yet. That just got approved by the board on Tuesday. So it'll be at least like 1 or 2 weeks for it to go through accounting to pay them, for them to implement it into it. So if you don't have it by, let's say, August 7th or 8th, then I would talk with either Brianna or Jen, because they're the ed techs, and they're the ones that kind of manage these kind of subscriptions.
Sounds good. Thank you. So we should expect to for it to upgrade after everything goes through.
Yeah.
I'll contact those people.
Yeah. So yeah, if it doesn't, and your ed tech too at your site would be able to help you. Thanks. That's a good suggestion, Yvonne.
Sounds good.
Show with the codes. Okay.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, Yvonne. Yes, lots of stuff to learn, Jen. Yeah. Cool. I can't wait to see it, Jen. I'm gonna die. My computer's about to die. Plug in. I've been on my computer all day today because I taught summer school this morning. There we go. Cool. All right. Any other questions? We're dwindling down. Helps if you plug into the wall and not just the computer, huh? There we go. I'm like 1%. No. All right, I'm going to stop recording because we did not stop recording yesterday.
I went into a session from this morning and I was watching for a second or two, watching somebody eating their lunch.
Oh, whoops. Okay. I'm going to stop presenting. All right. Yes, I know I'm presenting. Go away. Stop presenting. There. Many won't come to class. Oh, wait, that's like way old. Okay. All right. And I'm going to, where's the recording part? Stop recording. Yes, stop recording.